Snow White is even worse than I expected. I've seen some scenes here and there. Nothing so much that I can summarize it really. It's bad. It's bad. I think someone in chat earlier said they needed to make 800 million and they only made 87 million. So, yeah. You guys like that, that one? That's not a pause. That's the screenshot.
There are certain fundamental truths about this world which are so universal that anyone, no matter their race, colour or creed, can pretty much agree on them. 1. Never trust a post-Vindaloo fart.
Oh my god.
2. Spreadable butter isn't. 3. Anytime a woman starts a sentence with, "a real man would," you know you're about to hear some weapons-grade retardation. And to that not-so-illustrious list, we can add that the Snow White live-action remake was, without a doubt, one of the worst ideas in the whole history of entertainment. Possibly the most predictable of all failures, a project conceived for all the wrong reasons, starring all the wrong people, pushing...
You know what's crazy? I heard, what was her name? Gal Gadot? That her performance was really, really bad. I can't say. I am not spending money to go watch this movie. All I know is that all of the cinema places are empty. She was pretty in Wonder Woman? What, pretty good or pretty? A pretty good actor or just pretty? Because she is pretty. She is a pretty woman. Gal Gadot sadly isn't a great actor. She's very nice to look at though. She is very pretty. She's just pretty, okay. Snow White is a German fairy tale. It is. Snow White is a German fairy tale by the Gebrüder Grimm, how we call them. The Brother Grimm. And yeah. This Snow White has been... Well, it's been long in the making now, right? Like the live action. I'm happy that it's a failure. I'm happy that Disney realized this is bad.
all the wrong
or is going to realize that this didn't sit well with people.
Messages and telling the entirely wrong story. After all the delays and the controversies and the speculation that have been swirling around it for what feels like decades now, it was actually kinda weird to
I'm sorry, she just ain't no Snow White. You know what Snow White is described as? Skin white as snow, hair black as ebony, and lips red as blood. Pale as snow, okay. But she was born in the blizzard, though! She was born during a snowstorm! And I'm sorry. Where is she?
Starring all the wrong people, pushing all the wrong messages, and telling the entirely wrong story. After all the delays and the controversies and the speculation that have been swirling around...
You're no Snow White. This lady here grew up always wanting to be Snow White. And then she somehow had the means to be able to convince Disney to let her star as Snow White. And this happened. It's in her head. It's all fan fiction. Like this is all just fan fiction, man. Like, God.
After all the delays and the controversies and the speculation that have been swirling around it for what feels like decades now, it was actually kinda weird to finally sit down and just watch this thing. Like meeting a celebrity after following their career for years. Not a good kind of celebrity, like. More like a Jimmy Savile kind of celebrity. The kind that you're discreetly warned never to get into a lockable room alone with. But here it is, nonetheless. And now that I've finally suffered...
The dwarves look so bad. The dwarves look so freaking bad, man. Jimmy Savile's a PDF file, by the way. I don't know who that is.
Through nearly 2 hours of Snow White, I can confidently tell you that, yes, this film absolutely lived up to all my worst expectations, and in some cases even exceeded them. A bloated, overstuffed turkey of a production, weighed down by hammy acting, cheap costumes, horrendous CGI, and vomit-inducing cinematography that bungles most of the elements it steals from the original animated movie, abandons its classic ideals of self-sacrifice, heroism, heroism and true love, and injects the lethal dose of the message, which is so redundant and thematically contradictory that it just gets abandoned by the ends.
You know what's funny? That, what was the name? Rachel Zegler wanted to make the movie about, like, feminism and strong independency and about women empowerment. And then she still goes to clean the dwarf's house. That was Disney, not Rachel. Fair enough. Still. Fair enough that was Disney's idea then. But still. She made the dwarfs clean? Oh yeah, right, there was that one trailer where she also made the dwarfs did do some cleaning. That is true. That is true.
Which is so redundant and thematically contradictory that it just gets abandoned by the end.
True.
It's also laughably obvious where they've had to reshoot and rewrite big chunks of this movie in response to all the backlash. Entire subplots, characters, and setups are introduced and then abandoned without explanation, and
yeah, cats on the background.
The ending is so wildly anticlimactic and jarring that it makes World War Z look like a model of cinematic efficiency.
Yeah, also Queen took over the kingdom and then everything went to shit. Yeah, I don't know what China message they were trying to convey. It could have just stayed a cute little fairy tale. It could have just stayed that. Didn't need to be anything more than that. It could have kept being the same old fairy tale about how jealousy is ugly. That was the original message, bro. Could have stayed that. Peter Dinklage ruined the roads for small people. So I heard. Yeah, so I heard, man. I could have, should have. Yeah.
Anyway, let's get the plot summary over with so we can put this turd behind us. The basic setup for Snow White is broadly similar to the original film. Snow White herself is born to the benevolent king and queen of a generic medieval fantasy land that tactfully goes unnamed, although
it was Germany.
Fuck me, they must have pretty good transportation links with the rest of the world because the population here is more ethnically diverse than central London. Anyway, Snow White's mum dies and her dad
Damn!
marries Gal Gadot, who manipulates him into going off to war, where he promptly disappears and is never seen again. Oh no, guess she's gonna have to take control of everything. What a bind. Fast forward a few years and the kingdom's become a kind of dystopian nightmare where everyone's poor and hopeless and ruled over by an iron-fisted tyrant. It's a bit like modern day Britain, only with better sanitation and dental care.
Man.
Anyway,
there she's cleaning, see? Told you she was gonna clean. Told you she's cleaning. Oh, I guess where she was cleaning was in the castle, and then she got so upset about it, left, and made the dwarves clean instead now. Wow! Feminism empowerment! Am I right? Oh my god, man. What is this movie? What is this movie?
Wait, after a confrontation with Snow White over a bandit named Jonathan who tried to steal some food from the castle, the evil queen decides the best thing to do is send her out into the forest where the huntsman can conveniently murder her. It's a bit
Wait. So it wasn't about Spieglein an der Wand, wer ist die Schönste im ganzen Land? They changed the entire core! Wait, they changed it because they changed it? Did she just cuss? Okay, I'm sorry. That's her going like, mirror, mirror on the wall. Who is the most beautiful? I don't know how the rhyme goes in English. It's the mirror, mirror on the wall. That's the one. They changed that because everyone knows Gal Gadot is prettier than Rachel Zegler. That's why they changed it. Who's the fairest of them all? Okay. The original? Chat, the original is who's the prettiest. Like, in German, it's who's the prettiest. It's not who's the fairest. Just saying. We're all about beauty here in Germany. We're all about beauty here in Germany, I tell you what.
extreme, but I'll let it slide. Naturally, the huntsman has second thoughts and decides to let her go, and after wandering alone for a while, she runs into 7 dwarves that I can only describe as the kind of thing that Cthulhu probably has nightmares about.
Fairies went pretty back then? Oh, did it? Okay. Oh my god.
I'm not kidding, man. The brief glimpses that you got of these things in the trailers are absolutely nothing compared to the existential horror of actually witnessing them on the big screen. These are
She's got the moves, chat. Oh my god, she's got the
compared
moves.
to the existential
Look at
horror
this.
of
Look
actually
at
witnessing them.
Look at her moves! And you know why? Chat, you know why they aren't showing her full body for this clip? Because she probably had a double do it. That's usually when the shot isn't full body. That is usually when the shot isn't full body, when there's a double.
On the big screen. These are nightmares made real. Like if you woke up in the middle of the night and saw Mr. Blobby standing at the foot of your bed, silent, motionless, watching you with those blank, lifeless eyes that bore into your very soul. So after crashing at their house for a while, eating their food and helping herself to all of their resources, Snow White helpfully forces them to clean up their own home while she prances around like she's on some mad acid trip. Which she probably is, to be fair. I would be if I was in this fucking movie. Then for some reason she gets it into her head that her dad must still be alive, and the only way to find him is to seek out the bandits that lurk in the forests.
Right.
So naturally, she runs into Jonathan about 5 minutes after leaving the house so that the rest of the plot can happen, and he protects her from the evil queen's soldiers by taking an arrow that was meant for her, so she brings him back to the dwarves to get fixed up.
Huh? Huh? Like, this is just fanfiction, man. Bro, Jonathan who? What? What are they doing to my German fairy tale?
Oh yeah, you know those retarded looking Starbucks baristas from those early set pictures that everyone thought were the dwarves? Well, those are the bandits, who are actually out of work actors forced to become thieves because the evil queen's taxation policies shut down their entire industry. Is that a reference to something? Is that a reference to something?
They ruined my German fairy tale! They ruined mein Märchen! Warum?
Something?
Is that a reference to something?
No idea. Anyway, Jonathan decides to lure the Queen's soldiers away to give Snow White time to escape, and then immediately gets captured because he's a bumbling idiot. And the evil Queen decides that she's had enough of this shit. Frankly, one sympathizes. So she turns herself into an old hag and manipulates Snow White into eating a poisoned apple that makes her go a bit dead. But that.
Hey, at least they kept that part. At least they kept that part of the story.
It's okay, because Jonathan escapes prison so that the rest of the plot can happen, and gives her the world's least passionate kiss, which brings her back to life so that she can begin her cunning plan to—
Oh, they kept the kiss? What? I thought they didn't want to keep the entire woman get saved by man.
overthrow the queen and take back her kingdom. Do you want to know what that plan is? Are you ready for the fourth dimensional quantum mega chess that she plays here that would probably give Christopher Nolan a brain hemorrhage? Well, she—
A kiss on the chin? It was a kiss on the chin. Wait, did they show it and I just didn't missed it? The kiss was on the chin? Put the kiss during the reshoots, probably. How do you kiss someone on the chin? What's the point? Like, do at least the forehead. Like, if they're not gonna kiss each other on the lips, do the forehead. Like, what?
Do you want to know what that plan is? Are you ready for the fourth dimensional quantum mega chess that she plays here that would probably give Christopher Nolan a brain hemorrhage? Well, she walks into town and then convinces the soldiers to turn against the evil queen because—
I remember this part from somewhere, I think. I don't know, I think I saw a clip or something. She remembers all the names of the soldiers. Wow. 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 That's crazy, man.
she can remember their names.
Really?
I'm not kidding, that's her plan. So the evil queen gets mad and smashes the magic mirror and then turns into black glass and shatters, and Snow White becomes the new queen, and that's it, they all live happily ever after. Now, there's a lot I want to say about this movie, but first, let us begin with the positives.
Oh God.
And it's hard—
And also, didn't they have this weird-ass dance at the end of the movie, or I don't know, where they're all dressed in white and just, like, dancing around? Like, what? Even Tommy doesn't like it. Thanks, Tommy.
As it might be to believe, most of them actually concern Rachel Zegler.
No way!
Now, don't get me wrong, she might be an obnoxious arsehole in the real world, but credit where credit's due here, she actually isn't terrible as Snow White.
It's not true!
What?
That's impossible!
I mean, her outfit looks like it cost like $100 off Amazon.
Her outfit, like, her
That's
outfit,
impossible!
I mean,
it does look like the Snow White outfit. Like, it does, like, that's just like Snow White from Disney, right? Like, that's just Snow White's Disney outfit. At least how I remember it. Disney, oh goddammit. Disney cartoon Snow White. Yeah, it's pretty close. I'd say it's pretty close, you know? I think the dress is the least of our issues. I think the dress is okay. It did not translate well to real world. That's a good point. That is a good point. Like, she does kind of stick out. The dress does kind of stick out compared to the rest of the movie. Like, in colors and stuff.
her outfit looks like it cost like $100 off Amazon. Her haircut makes Anton Chigurh like a cutting edge.
That haircut is, though, the same haircut that Snow White does have. At least in the Disney fairy tale. That is her Disney fairy tale, like, hair. Like, I cannot criticize her over that haircut. I think it's ugly too, the way they translated it. I think
Chigurh like a
I think it's pretty ugly, and it doesn't translate well, but that is the haircut. Even Kingdom Hearts did better work telling the story than this lol. KH Kingdom Hearts, right? This LA. Hot take, Kristen Stewart was the better Snow White. It's a bit different, but I agree. The outfit is on point regardless of the movie quality. Yeah.
cutting edge trailblazer. Her performance is a bit over the top and theatre kid at times, and her American accent comes and goes depending on whether or not she's in a reshoot, but I do get the impression she's at least trying to do her best with the material, and she can absolutely belt out the musical numbers, which is pretty much what you'd expect from a trained vocalist. The same cannot be said for Gal Gadot, however. It genuinely pains me to say this, but I think we all need to come to the acceptance that that girl cannot fucking act.
That's so crazy, man. How did she get the role? Because did they cast her on prettiness in this case? Why didn't they cast Snow White on prettiness? Like, what's going on? Like, what is it with these castings? I don't get it. I don't get it.
It takes a special kind of charisma, presence, and dramatic range to play a good Disney villain, and well, Gal Gadot doesn't have it. Her delivery somehow manages to be wooden and scenery chewing at the same time, and when she has to deliver a big musical number, you can pinpoint the exact moment where they swap out her voice with someone who can actually sing.
No!
There's no heaven.
Oh my god. Bro. Bro. What's the... Okay.
Jonathan is yet another entry into the bumbling, forgettable, non-threatening male sidekick list of modern day.
Is this from COVID? I think so. I didn't wanna, like, just put that out there because I'm not 100% sure. But I think that was during the time where all the actors just started singing on Instagram.
Another entry into the bumbling, forgettable, non-threatening male sidekick list of modern-day Disney heroes. There's brief moments where it seems like he might be displaying the tiniest bit of attitude and heroism, but then it's immediately squashed to reinforce the idea that men are all just a bit useless. Visually, the film's an inconsistent mess. CGI Cthulhu nightmares aside, the colour scheme ranges from bleak, washed-out grey castles and towns that look like Zack Snyder directed it, to a kind of over-the-top golden yellow piss filter for the CGI woodland scenes that's so excessive it actually makes your eyes start to hurt after a while. It's funny as well because there's like one scene that was filmed on location in a real forest, and the contrast between that and the CGI fantasy version is so jarring, I actually thought the action had shifted to a whole different country. documentary. Also, you can absolutely tell this movie's been reshot to fuck. The kiss scene where Jonathan brings Snow White back to life was absolutely added in later to try to appease fans of the original. Snow White herself has clearly been toned down in places to make her less obnoxious, and I'd be willing to bet about 90% of the bandits' screen time has been cut. Most of them don't even get a single line of dialogue, which once again had me questioning, why the fuck are they even in this movie? I think the biggest problem though is the ending. The original movie had the dwarves battling the evil queen to save Snow White, reinforcing the idea of reciprocal kindness and redemption, but here Snow White has to resolve everything by herself, and the result is that,
You know, I don't know how it's called in English, but pretty sure we always called it Schneewittchen und die sieben Zwerge, which just is Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. It was never just Snow White. I'm just... Oh, this is a lot to take in, man. Oh, this is a lot to take in. Original Disney film was the Seven Dwarfs? Alright. Alright then. Yeah, so... But hey, let's cut one of the core features out as much as possible, I guess.
none of the other groups or factions have anything to do. Both
You know why? They just didn't have the budget for the CGI to continue.
the bandits and the dwarves, and even Jonathan, just kind of stand around watching the whole
Sorry for pausing again. They spent it all on Rachel and Gal Gadot for casting them, even though they're not worth it.
do. Both the bandits and the dwarves, and even Jonathan, just kind of stand around watching the whole thing play out, and I couldn't help wondering, what is the film even trying to show us here? Snow White as a character seems to be all about equity and shared responsibility. Rather than
Oh my god! Oh my god! Comrade Snow White!
privilege and greedy self-interest, but when it comes to the crunch, she ends up having to do basically everything herself, which negates the very point the movie's been trying to make for the past 2 hours. It's this fundamental inability to understand what it's even trying to say, beyond the crushingly tired princess who saves herself trope that's now become the very cliche it worked so hard to overturn that proves to be the film's real undoing. In short, Snow White is a modern day mess. A film that's
You know what I
been a
actually...
disaster.
Oops, sorry. You know what I find ridiculous? Now, here's the thing. Snow White... Let me tell you, this is a Disney and a, Rachel Zegler issue. Snow White was never about the helpless princess getting saved. It was always about how jealousy makes you ugly. That's the core message of Snow White. If you take away anything else, that's a fucking skill issue.
Doing. In short, Snow White is a modern day mess. A film that's basically been a disaster from start to finish, and now that it's finally out there and I've reviewed it, it's something I'm very much looking forward to tossing on the ash heap of history. Do yourself a big old favour, save yourself some time and money, and go watch the original instead.
Weird. I
Anyway,
hate that.
that's all I've got for today.
What about kindness brings kindness? Of course, that's also what it is about, yes.
Go away now.
Weird.
There are certain
But it was never about a woman getting saved by a man. And if you think that's what the original movie was about, then that's literally a you issue. That's literally a you issue. And you are seeing demons where there are none. Disney stopped doing remakes of the OG. One more link, please? Okay, I got you. Here you go. Yeah. So I'm not gonna spend money on going to watch this movie. Maybe if it comes out one day, I will go and watch it to tell you guys how shit it actually is. But yeah, that will be that. Can you read the lyrics of the last song of Snow White? Do you have a link to that? Do you know what the song is called? Because I don't know what the song is called. But yeah, he didn't bring up the, like, final scene with the dance, right? Like, that dance, he didn't bring it up. It's so weird. Like, what is this about, man? I can't play this, otherwise we're gonna get copyrighted. Like, this is so weird. Like, everything... I don't know, man. This is so weird. I don't know what it is. It's a Diddy pot. Okay. Oh, a hedgehog. That's a cute hedgehog, I guess. I don't know. Actually, never mind. The CGI ruined it right here. By the way, yeah, that's the final scene. I just... Alright, YouTube. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.